Hi, this presentation will talk about some of the dimensions of the different interactions that you'll find in an online environment, specifically the human interactions, the interactions between the teacher and student and between students and their peers. Most of what I'll be talking about I actually got from a book chapter by Charles Graham that's in the Handbook of Blended Learning, and the citation is here if you're interested in reading more. Graham identifies actually 4 dimensions of interaction. We're going to talk about 3 of those. So the first dimension is space. So you either have to share the same physical space where you have low flexibility in space, or you don't share the same physical space, which provides a high level of flexibility. The second dimension is time. So with time, your interactions can either be synchronous or asynchronous. If they're synchronous, then you have low flexibility because there's a short lag time. So you basically have to be communicating at the same time. Or you can have asynchronous communications that have high level of flexibility because you don't have to be communicating at the same time because there's a long lag time in between interactions. The last one is fidelity, and what we mean by fidelity is how many communication cues are present. Sometimes that's called richness. Very low fidelity would mean you're basically only using text. And high fidelity means that there are lots of different communication cues that are present. So let's talk about the different types of interaction and how these dimensions change according to those types of interaction. So the first one is face-to-face interaction. When we see face-to-face interaction, basically it has very low flexibility in space and time because you're sharing the same physical space and it's a live communication or it's synchronous communication. But all the communication cues are present, which is great. So that can be helpful for kind of brainstorming and building relationships, and you can kind of create the synergy that's difficult to do in other types of interaction. In an online learning environment, typically what we see is asynchronous text communication. And when we do that, we lose those communication cues, which can be harmful for some students because they really need those communication cues. They want to develop a sense of community. It's hard to kind of brainstorm using asynchronous text, but it allows for more reflection. So what you lose in synergy, you gain in time to reflect. Because you don't have to share the same space and share the same time. And because of that, you can really think through what you're going to say and you can edit what you're going to say before you actually share it. So there's a lot of benefits to that. Another benefit is that everyone can participate because there isn't a limited amount of time that you'd find in a face-to-face environment. So some people have found that they really want to increase the fidelity and they want to have more of that synergy and communication. And so what they've done is they've begun to use synchronous video communication. So you do have more fidelity, you can kind of generate a little more synergy, but you lose the time to reflect before you communicate, which can be a negative in some instances, but you still maintain a high level of flexibility in space so you can reach a broader audience. The other drawback to this is it's similar to face-to-face in that students can dominate the conversation, or the instructor can dominate the conversation, where that's less likely to happen with asynchronous text. So some people have begun using asynchronous video, so they want to maintain a high level of fidelity to kind of have those communication cues that are present, to develop a sense of community, but they still want to have a high level of flexibility and participation. And so with asynchronous video, you have those communication cues, but people can still think through what they're going to say before they say it. And also, everyone can participate similar to asynchronous text. So those are the different types of interaction. It really depends on what your goals are on which one you choose.